You're probably actually wondering why I look like I've seen better days, why it looks like I got my butt kicked. Well, it has to do with what I'm going to be talking to you about today. And I'm going to show you how I lit and recreated a scene from the hit HBO show Barry. So it's actually quite a simple setup, so why don't we just dive right on into it and I can show you exactly how I went about recreating the scene. So first, I'm actually going to show you a comparison from the actual shots and scene from Barry compared with the footage and the shots that I've captured myself. And I know it's not a 100% one-for-one shot recreation, if you want to call it that, but I tried my best and I think I did quite a good job. So let me know in the comments down below what you think of my scene recreation here. So the first thing I'm going to go over is the set. The set is always a very important part of either recreating a scene from a known property, a known video, movie, TV show, whatever it is, or just recreating your own scenes as well. Location, set design, all that is super important, and that is why movies and TV shows look as good and professional as they do. The set just completely sucks you into the environment, into what you're watching, and I know this is nothing crazy, it's nothing, really out there. I didn't really have to do much here. I think this spot is perfect because it's got that grungy concrete vibe, which really matches the scene from Barry, because in Barry season 4, spoiler alert, Barry is in prison, so he's just in a prison cell with a concrete wall that looks quite grungy. So I happen to have that right over there here in my basement, so I thought this would be the perfect scene to recreate because it would be quite simple. So this allowed me to easily set up here and light it the way I want to and get those shots to match up as best as I can with the scene from Barry. And to tie this whole thing together, the character design is just as important as the set or location. So I'm no makeup artist, but I figured it was better to at least try to make my face look like it's bruised and beat up just like Barry is, versus just having it, a clean, normal looking face. So I did take some trial shots and test shots doing it that way. And as you can see right here, looks fine, but it really doesn't fit the bill for the vibe that we're going through here. So I grabbed this little bruise makeup kit from Party City, a party costume makeup supply store, for just like, $7 I think it was. And I looked at a tutorial online on YouTube on how to apply makeup to look like a bruise. So I just kind of followed through with that. I know it's not the best thing ever. You can take a look here, it is what it is, but I think it's still better than having absolutely nothing. Next, we're going to talk about the lights and how we actually went about lighting the scene. All right, to light the scene over here, I used a new light from COLBOR, if that's how you pronounce it. I'm not too sure. COLBOR, and it is the CL220 light. It is a bicolor light that packs quite a punch in a small form factor. There are some built-in effects, like a lot of lights like this do have, and it comes in a small, lightweight package considering its power output. These lights are actually pretty cool because you can connect multiple lights together and actually sync them up. So when you are doing some effects, they can actually fire in sync and together and in these cool little patterns. So I think that is quite awesome. And they actually literally physically attach together. So there's a mounting bracket that you can put them side by side and link them together, and you can put them on a light stand. So I think that's really cool. But for this shoot over here, I didn't actually have to do that. It only actually required one light. I really did study the scene from Barry to see how they went about lighting this, and it really did seem like they used one light source. So I went ahead and did just that. And why I like this light being bicolor is that in this scene from Barry, the color temperature actually changes from more of a cool daylight balance to a much warmer glow. So I didn't have to use different lights. I didn't have to toss gels on the lights. It's just a quick, easy switch from either the back of the camera or by using the mobile app that it comes with. So all I did was attach a small softbox to the light over here because I didn't want the light to just be completely spreading out and being super bright, just filling the whole scene. I wanted to narrow it a bit. And if I went with a big softbox, it would have created that obviously nice, soft looking light, but it would have spread it a little bit too much. So I went with a smaller one that was able to kind of narrow the light more, but I did not put a grid on it because I didn't want it to be narrowed that much. So just a simple small softbox did the trick here. So for this first shot over here, all I had to do was set the light pretty much in line with my face and my head and putting it almost directly in front of me. The camera was basically right in front of me, dead on, so I couldn't have the light exactly there. So I had it just to the right of the camera and having it just aimed directly at my face. I had to play around with it a little bit to just see how I can get the shadows to fall the way I want to, and it was a little bit difficult and challenging to match up exactly how they had it in the scene from Barry, but again, I think I got quite close here, so I'm pretty happy with this. And for the second shot over here, which is a different angle, the camera was put on a 45-degree angle here, so I had to keep the lights pretty much in the same position though. So as you can see on the back here, the shadow is falling kind of behind me onto the wall, which is the same thing as how it was looking in the shot from Barry. So I pretty much left the light where it was. I just maybe adjusted the angle slightly and the height just a little bit. So I just kind of fine-tuned it the way I wanted to have it exactly where I wanted it to be. So again, this was pretty straightforward, pretty simple, and I just switched it to a warmer color temperature for this shot. And as you may have noticed in the scene from Barry, the light was kind of pulsing or flickering, if you want to call it that. So at first I actually played around with using the built-in effect, the pulse effect, on the actual light itself. But it went in too much of a regular pattern, and it actually goes from brighter to completely dark, black. So I didn't want it to go entirely dark. So I actually just fired up the app, held the phone down in my lap, and just slid the brightness slider up and down as I wanted to achieve the desired look. All right, and next we're gonna talk about the camera and lenses I used to shoot this scene recreation here. So of course, my camera of choice was the Sony FX3, as that is my main camera. And I paired it with the SLR microprime cine lenses, and specifically the 35mm lens. The 35mm is actually pretty much my go-to lens because it is quite versatile. It allows you to pull back and get a nice wider shot, but then when you do get nice and close up, you don't have a ton of warping or distortion, but you really can get those beautiful close-up shots while having some nice out-of-focus background as well. So it really captures that nice detail when you pull it in nice and close as well. So that is why I went with the 35mm. And this combo here, these lenses with the Sony FX3, just really helps achieve that cinematic look, if you want to call it that. I know it's hard to achieve that look sometimes, and a lot of the time when you just go with those standard, super crisp, high quality lenses from Sony or Sigma or Canon, it looks great and fantastic, but it's missing a little bit of character. So that's why cine lenses, like the ones from SLR, they just have this other quality and characteristics to them that really help get that film-like cinematic look. So that's why I love this set. That's why I always shoot with them. And that is absolutely why I picked this lens for the scene recreation right over here. And because these shots were quite simple, they were just locked off in Barry. It was very easy to just pop my whole camera onto a tripod and just lock off my shots and get them exactly the way I wanted to. Alrighty, and here are my final thoughts. I think doing scene recreations are always a fantastic exercise because it really helps you think about framing, composition, how you want to go about shooting something, and it just really helps you get creative because it's not always easy to just shoot something on your own or even recreate something. So having to spend the time to sit down and analyze something and then try to recreate that, I just think that is such an invaluable lesson that you can be doing for yourself. So I had a lot of fun with this, and again, I know it's not perfect, but I think I did the best that I could to get it as close as possible to looking like the scenes from Barry, and I think it fits in quite nicely from the actual footage from Barry. The final touches in this whole thing were color grading, and I really didn't have to do anything too crazy right over here. I just slapped on a LUT from the Phantom LUTs pack from Joel Fumilaro that is just a conversion LUT that converts the S-Log3 footage from the Sony FX3 to looking more like RE film LUTs. And that was almost the right look by default. It got quite close, I would say, to the color grading from Barry. So I just had to make some minor tweaks to color temperature, saturation. I noticed Barry's shots were quite a bit more desaturated than my footage was looking. So I just kind of got the ball rolling there by just doing some minor tweaks and adjustments. Then I used the Dehancer plugin to just add on a nice bit of film grain and add a couple of little effects to make it look a little bit more like that film-like look. And there you have it. That is what you see over here. So what do you think? Do you think I did a good job here? Do you think that was a close enough recreation of the scene? Did you learn something from this recreation over here? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm Alex Perry, and I'll catch you in the next video. Ciao for now.